The WNBA is booming, but the players are prepared to strike before the season even starts. And there's a deadline that could decide everything. The league and the players' union are working toward a March 10th target date to finalize a new collective bargaining agreement. If they don't reach a deal, the May 8th season start could be delayed. In recent weeks, the pace of negotiations has accelerated. Both sides are exchanging counterproposals within days of each other, and a shift from earlier stretches where proposals sat without response. The deadline has created urgency. So what's actually happening? Here's where things stand. The timing matters. The WNBA's national media deals signed in 2024 were widely reported at roughly $200 million per year, a significant leap for the league. Starting in 2026, USA Network will add at least 50 games annually, plus select playoff and finals coverage in certain years. So distribution is expanding, revenue visibility is expanding, and at the same time, the league is negotiating how that revenue will be shared. At the center of this negotiation is revenue sharing. Players are seeking a percentage of gross revenue before expenses, while the league is offering a percentage of net revenue after expenses. Here's how reporter Annie Costable breaks it down.
The union is seeking gross revenue, which obviously is the revenue before any deductions are taken. The league is proposing a share of net revenue after certain deductions are taken off the top. And that percentage they're saying is 70% of net revenue, okay? But when you look further at that, what multiple sources have consistently said is that percentage does not equate to more than 15% of total league revenue before deductions are made over the course of this deal that's on the table.
For context, the union is currently seeking roughly 26% of gross revenue over the life of the deal, nearly double the league's effective gross share under its net proposal. So this isn't about a percentage on paper, it's about how revenue is defined in the first place. And that definition shapes everything that comes after it, including the salary cap. Revenue sharing determines how large the salary cap can be. So we asked Annie how far apart the two sides actually are on that number.
Obviously, the salary cap, they both are still discussing where that salary cap would be at. The league just proposed $5.75 million. The union is seeking just below $9.5 million. You obviously see a huge gap there.
That's not a small gap. And even if the cap grows, the next question becomes who benefits from that growth? Because this isn't just about the total number. It's about how it's distributed. To understand why this gap feels so large, it helps to look at where salaries were just 1 year ago. In 2025, the team salary cap was approximately $1.5 million. The Supermax salary was $249,244. The minimum for players with under 3 years of experience was just over $66,000. So even the league's current proposal represents a massive leap. The disagreement isn't about whether pay will rise, it's about how quickly and how proportionally that rise reflects the league's growth. Here's how the league's current proposal allocates that money.
What we know right now is that in the league's proposal, 20% of the salary cap will go to the Supermax contract. Roughly 17% will go to the standard max. About 9% is going to go to rookies. So the middle tier is really getting squeezed here.
So when players talk about fairness, this is part of what they mean. Not just the size of the pie, but how it's sliced. And this negotiation is not limited just to revenue. There are operational pieces involved too, and housing is one of them. Annie Costable breaks it down.
The league has historically always provided housing to players. And what we know is the WNBA is a very unique league in the sense of its window that it plays. And so finding housing for players in this shortened window, in addition to players that would potentially be in markets like New York, Chicago, San Francisco. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but seeking a lease in a market where you are only available to sign potentially a 6-month lease in New York, like that's not an easy scenario. And so I think that's why there's such an emphasis on, ensuring that housing is provided at least for a period of time.
In a league with a condensed season and frequent relocation, that becomes more than a perk. It becomes structural. Cassandra Neglia and I recently spoke with WNBPA Vice President Nafisa Collier about how players are approaching this moment. So we asked her directly about what players are prepared to do if there's not a deal done by the deadline.
We want a season to happen, but if we don't get the things that we are wanting to stay 10 toes down on, then we're going to sit out for as long as that takes. Like, that's not what anyone wants, but it's what we're willing to do in order to get the things that we feel are fair.
This isn't just rhetoric. In December, the union's membership overwhelmingly authorized its executive committee to call a strike if necessary, with Reuters reporting 93% turnout and 98% voting yes. So the leverage on the players' side is formal. This moment also unfolds amid unprecedented star power and visibility for the league. While negotiations are being led by union leadership, the broader spotlight on the WNBA adds another layer of public attention to the outcome. That's firm, but that is not sudden. Players have been preparing for that possibility.
Well, for the past, I would say, year and a half, the executive committee has been urging everyone to save their money because we knew the negotiations were coming up. We never know what's going to happen. If there's not a season, we want to make sure everyone's prepared.
At the same time, though, she made clear this isn't a stalemate. We asked her about the tone of the negotiations right now.
I think negotiations are trending in the right direction. And that's what you want. You want movement. You don't want to be in a stalemate. You want there to be hope for the future. And I do have that. I think there has to be a lot of movement in in a lot of places in the CBA, but the fact that we are moving, I think, is really hopeful.
The league has also publicly pushed back. In a statement responding to the union's latest proposal, the WNBA said, quote, "The Players Association's latest proposal remains unrealistic and would cause hundreds of millions of dollars of losses for our teams." The league added it still must complete 2 drafts and free agency before training camp and warned that time is running out. The draft is April 13th. We also have an expansion draft for 2 new expansion teams joining the league in 2026. Training camp begins April 19th and opening night is May 8th. The calendar is tight. Both sides say talks are active, but if a deal isn't reached, the consequences are real. The negotiation will determine not just whether the season starts on time, but how the next era of the WNBA growth is structured. The league is expanding. Now the question is how that expansion is valued and divided. Like what you heard? Hit that subscribe button. The comments are open. Let's keep the takes flying. I'm ready for it.